Benjamin Franklin said, "Three may keep a secret if two of them are dead." So what happens when the general who knows all the king's secrets won't die or can't die? What if I told you that King David, the man after God's own heart, had a nephew who knew all his secrets? What if the same guy who wrote beautiful psalms about God's mercy also had a personal enforcer who quietly eliminated anyone in the way? This is the story of Joab, David's general, his fixer, his problem solver, and possibly his greatest liability. Because here's the thing, Joab killed at least 4 people, and David never punished him, not once, until the very end, when David was literally on his deathbed. So the question isn't just who was Joab, it's why couldn't David stop him? And what did Joab know that made him untouchable? These are the types of content I create. If you're interested, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss upcoming videos. Buckle up, this one's messy. Let's start with the basics. Joab wasn't some random soldier. He was David's nephew, the son of David's sister, Zeruiah, family, blood. And Joab wasn't just any general, he was the general, the guy who led Israel's armies for decades, the guy who captured Jerusalem, the guy who won battles that kept David on the throne. In other words, Joab was indispensable. David needed him, even when he hated what he did. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Joab was also a killer. Not just in war, though he was brutal there too, but in politics. He eliminated people, quietly, efficiently, and always at the most convenient times for David. Coincidence or coordination? The body count. Let me walk you through Joab's greatest hits, literally. For sure, your whole body will tremble, your brain will explode, and you will definitely be blown away if you learn. Death number 1, Uriah, the indirect murder, the darkest one. The one Joab didn't kill directly, but he definitely knew about. David sleeps with Bathsheba, Uriah's wife. She gets pregnant. Panic mode. So David writes a letter to Joab. Put Uriah in the front lines where the fighting is fiercest. Then withdraw from him so he will be struck down and die. Translation. Make it look like an accident. And Joab does it. No questions asked. Uriah dies. David gets Bathsheba. Case closed. But here's the thing. Joab knew. He knew David was covering up adultery with murder. He knew the king's darkest secret. And once you know that kind of secret, you become untouchable. Because if David ever came after Joab, Joab could expose him. Death number 2, Abner. Abner was Saul's general, a military genius, a kingmaker, and he just switched sides to join David. This was huge. Abner bringing the northern tribes to David meant the kingdom would be united. No more civil war, just peace. But days later, Joab pulled Abner aside and stabbed him in the gut. Blood revenge, he claimed. Payback for Abner killing Joab's brother Asahel in battle. And David? He publicly mourned, held a funeral, even cursed Joab, and immediately goes, "Not me, I'm innocent. This is all on Joab." He curses Joab's entire family tree with STDs, skin diseases, disgrace, battle deaths, and perpetual hunger. The dude basically said, "May your bloodline never know peace." But here's the kicker, David never punished Joab, not even a demotion. Joab stayed general, business as usual. So here's the question, was this really about revenge? Or was Abner alive a threat to Joab's position, and maybe even to David's control? Because let's be real, Abner dead meant Joab didn't have to share power, and David didn't have to share glory. Death number 3, Absalom. Fast forward, David's son Absalom rebels, tries to take the throne. Civil war breaks out. And David gives one clear order to his generals. Be gentle with the young man Absalom for my sake. Translation, don't kill my son. But Joab, he finds Absalom hanging by his hair in a tree and drives 3 javelins through his heart. Direct disobedience in front of witnesses. And when David hears about it, he's devastated. He's mourning. He's falling apart. Don't be the person who shows up to the group chat with nothing but crap news. Be the one who drops knowledge bombs that make everyone go, "How did I not know this?" But Joab basically storms in like, "Stop crying. You're embarrassing yourself. Like, you love your haters and hate your men who risked their lives for you. Honestly, you'd be happier if Absalom were alive and the rest of us were dead. That's what you're showing. Now maintain your composure, get out there and hype your troops, or by tomorrow you'll be king of nothing." Brutal honesty or calculated manipulation? Because here's what's wild. Joab was right. David was being a bad leader at that moment. As a father, his emotions over his son overwhelm him, and Joab forces him to snap out of it. You're the king. Lead. So the question is, did Joab kill Absalom against David's orders? Or because of what David secretly wanted but couldn't say out loud? Death number 4, Amasa. Here's where it gets really twisted. After Absalom's rebellion, David tries to replace Joab with Amasa because of Joab's insubordination and blood guilt. Amasa is Absalom's former general and David's nephew and Joab's cousin. It's a peace move, a reconciliation, and also a demotion for Joab. But here's nobody talks about, during the next crisis, Sheba's rebellion, Joab runs into Amasa, pretends to greet him, and stabs him in the stomach with a hidden dagger. Just like that. Job opening, general, Joab reapplies with violence. And David? Once again, nothing. No punishment, no consequences. So here's the uncomfortable pattern. Every time David tries to replace Joab, the replacement ends up dead. Coincidence? Or is Joab sending a message? So here's what we've got. Joab helps kill Uriah. No punishment. Joab kills Abner. No punishment. Joab kills Absalom. No punishment. Joab kills Amasa. No punishment. 4 deaths, 0 consequences. There are those who believe in every whisper, and there are those who don't seem to bother much. The question is, what can we gain from this? So the question is, why? Option 1, David was weak. He couldn't control his own general. Option 2, David was complicit. Joab did what David wanted but couldn't say, perhaps because of the kingdom's security and his own position as well. Option 3, Joab had leverage. He knew too much for David to ever touch him. I'm leaning towards option 3. Because think about it. If you're a king and your general knows you committed adultery and murder, can you really afford to punish him? Or does he become the most dangerous person in your inner circle? Joab wasn't just David's enforcer, he was David's insurance policy and his blackmail. If you want to expand your thinking and deepen your understanding, come and let's delve together into meaningful studies and find the answer to the question. Is it true? The shepherd drives the wolf from the sheep's throat, for which the sheep thanks the shepherd as his liberator, while the wolf denounces him for the same act as the destroyer of liberty. And then, after decades of this toxic dynamic, King David finally makes a move on his deathbed. David's final instructions to his son Solomon deal with Joab. Do not let his gray head go down to the grave in peace. Translation, kill him for me. And Solomon does. Joab runs to the altar for sanctuary, but Solomon has him executed anyway. So here's the gut punch question. Why did David wait until he was dying to deal with Joab? Was it justice or cowardice? Because let's be honest, King David couldn't control Joab in life. So he passed the problem to his son. King David outsourced his guilt again. Here's what makes Joab's story so tragic. He was loyal. Brutally, violently, unwaveringly loyal to King David. He won battles, he secured the kingdom. He did the dirty work so King David's hands could stay clean. And in the end, King David threw him under the bus. So was Joab a villain? Or was he just the guy willing to do what King David wanted but couldn't admit? Was he evil, or was he honest about power in a way King David never could be? Skip the ordinary and dive into the secret chef's tasting menu of stories. We're your guide to uncovering hidden gems and surprising twists, making you the main character with jaw-dropping facts. Unlock the knowledge you crave. Because here's the thing, David got to be the poet king, the man after God's own heart, the guy who wrote Psalms. But Joab carried the blood. Joab took the blame. Joab became the scapegoat. And maybe that's the point. Maybe Joab's story is a warning about what happens when leaders outsource their sins to someone else. Maybe it's about the dangerous servants who know too much. Maybe it's about the cost of loyalty in a corrupt system. This next part changed everything for me. So, was Joab David's greatest asset or his biggest liability? Did David love him, use him, or fear him? And here's the question that should make us all uncomfortable. How many leaders today have a Joab doing their dirty work? How many pastors, politicians, and CEOs have someone in the shadows, handling the problems, making the messes go away, knowing the secrets? And when things fall apart, who gets thrown under the bus? The leader who gave the orders, or the enforcer who carried them out? Most YouTube channels are like flashy carnival games, enticing but empty. We're the boutique coffee shop of content, offering substance and quality. Choose us for engaging, memorable videos that nourish your mind, unlike the usual brain-draining fare. Just go ahead and check it out. What's the worst that could happen, right? Don't be a chicken. Unlock exclusive, mind-blowing stories that make you the MVP of every conversation. Like a secret menu, this VIP content is for those in the know. Subscribe, engage, and stay ahead of the curve. History is written by the victors. And boy, does it show. When the dust settles, nobody's Googling how ethical was that win though. Nope. The winners get the glory, the statues, and the Wikipedia page. Meanwhile, the messy truth? Buried 6 feet under. Take David. Total legend, right? Meanwhile, Joab's in the shadows, paying the price and getting exactly 0 credit. David gets the hero treatment. Joab gets footnote status at best. Win the war, be the king, and write the story. Morality, optional. Oh, buckle up. If you don't get this, you could be staring at a pile of gold and there you are thinking it's just some fancy copper. Open up your mind and further enrich your understanding of well-researched knowledge, which is the foundation of true wisdom. Remember, it's essential to select content that offers something of value. If this made you uncomfortable, good. Drop a comment. Was Joab a villain, a victim, or both? Hit subscribe for more stories they don't talk about in Sunday school. See you in the next one.